We began this odyssey across the state of North Carolina shortly after the budget was passed earlier this summer. We are concluding it here in Raleigh today. This budget tour has taken us through 15 or 20 North Carolina communities, principally our targeted House and Senate districts where we think we have the best shot of picking up seats in the 2010 elections. And the message has been singularly about the budget. We believe that talking about the budget is our best chance to convince the people of North Carolina that they need a change in leadership in the General Assembly. Representative Stam, the House Minority Leader, is going to go into some detail about the budget. I will just try to summarize for you what we've been hearing from people all over the state about the budget. First and foremost, of course, regardless of their party affiliation or even necessarily their ideological point on the spectrum, people are outraged that taxes went up $1 billion this year. On October 23rd of last year, the governor said, when she was still a candidate for the office she now holds, that raising taxes in this economy would be the wrong thing to do. Later, as the session began to unfold, the Democrats said that they would balance the budget by cutting spending, not raising taxes. Then later, as Representative Stam will show you, they justified the case for raising taxes by artificially inflating the deficit to what they said was $4.5 billion. He's going to show you that was probably about a fourfold exaggeration on their part. The people of North Carolina deserve a change of leadership in the General Assembly. The last time that the Republicans had a majority in the state Senate was 1898. That's 111 years of unbroken power in the state Senate. And for all but 4 of those years, Democrats have also controlled the House of Representatives. Lord Acton said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, and I don't think there's a better living testimony to that maxim than the Democratic Party in North Carolina. It is corrupt, it is lawless, it is arrogant, and it is because they have had absolute power for over a century. I think every year for the last 5 or 6, a major elected Democratic official has gone to jail. And beyond that, the raising taxes and some of the more perplexing priorities contained in this budget defy common sense and logic. And this budget does not reflect the common sense values and priorities, nor the best interests of the people of North Carolina. When 1 out of every 9 North Carolinians average in North Carolina are out of work, and in some counties where we've been, it's been 1 out of 7, 1 out of 8 North Carolinians out of work. Raising taxes $1 billion is unconscionable. Governor Perdue also said during the budget debate that we would not balance this budget on the backs of working families. But a sales tax does precisely that. Sales taxes hurt working families the hardest. Everybody in this state pays the sales tax. The employed, the unemployed, the rich, the poor, the disadvantaged, women, children, men, handicapped, everybody. And the lower you are on the income scale, the more the sales tax hurts you because the less ability you have to adjust your spending levels. So after coming back from a statewide tour and ending here in Raleigh, we feel very confident that we are going to have Republican majorities in the House and the Senate in 2010. And I'll cite a little historic reference to that. How many state house seats did we pick up in 1994? I think it was 24 or 26. In 1994, which is a year eerily shaping up to look like this one, or this one is eerily shaping up to look like 1994, we picked up 24 seats in the North Carolina House. We only need 10 to get a majority this year, and we only need 6 in the Senate. And we have very good candidates in our targeted districts, and we're working very, very hard to make sure those challengers are competitively funded. One of the reasons that the Democrats have maintained a majority in both houses of the General Assembly is that they just outspend us heavily in our targeted races. So part of our job is to raise enough money so that our challengers are competitive. But we feel very confident about this midterm election. Midterm elections are notoriously difficult for parties in the White House. There have only been 2 exceptions to that since the beginning of the 20th century. FDR's first midterm in '34 and George Bush's first midterm in 2002. Every other time since the beginning of the 20th century, the party in the White House has lost seats in the Congress lost seats in the state legislatures. So we feel like we have history on our side. We also have a first-term Democratic president who is attempting to force socialized medicine down the throats of the American people, and we're all seeing the kind of resistance that is foaming in this country, and it is happening in North Carolina too, as Representative Stam and I can really attest. So for these factors, and because of what the Democrats did in North Carolina in this budget this year, we are very bullish on the Republican Party's chances of achieving a historic goal of having Republican majorities in the House and Senate. And this is a very important time to get a majority in the House and Senate, because in 2011 the state will go through its post-census redistricting. We have not been, as a party, a major player in redistricting again since the 19th century. And most of the plans written by the Democrats, perhaps all the plans written by the Democrats in the last 3 decades or more, have been ruled unconstitutional either by the state Supreme Court or the United States Supreme Court, or both. And we have districts that don't make sense. And every year there are a large number of, I think 70 members of the General Assembly in the last election had no opposition in the general election. Competitive two-party dynamics is a cornerstone of our republic and our state. Republicans must step up and become competitive in these districts. Part of that is making the lines fairer so that challengers have a better chance of knocking off incumbents. So the stakes are very high for our party in the 2010 election. We've got to step up. We've got to win these elections, and we've got to restore good, honest, trustworthy government to the people of North Carolina.